A woman is dead after a fiery wrong-way crash on the Hart Bridge. It happened last night just before midnight.
So this video to the left of me was actually taken by one of our reporters, Lana Harris. She was on that bridge when this crash happened. So FHP says the driver was heading north in the southbound lanes when she collided with another car, causing both cars to catch fire. So the woman, she died in that crash. She was the driver. The other driver, 28-year-old Joshua Brooks, was taken to Memorial Hospital with critical injuries. On your sides, Bethany Anderson talked with a woman who says she narrowly avoided that crash. Bethany joins us live from the Hart Bridge with the latest. Bethany.
That's right. The woman tells me she had mere seconds to swerve out of the way. And I also spoke with FDOT officials about this as well. They tell me they are replacing more than 200 of those wrong way signs to have reflective tape. They're also looking at road markings on the streets as well to make them more visible and more understandable for drivers.
This project is not a response to any specific incident. This project is in response to a need to improve the overall signage and different pavement markings.
FDOT Public Information Officer Hampton Ray says a $1.3 million project to work on road signage has been underway for several months.
All of the additional signage will have reflective tape on it, also the pavement marking on the actual roadway, and help them understand that that's not the direction that they should be going.
The department is also pushing this hashtag, Stay Right at Night. Experts say most wrong-way crashes happen when there's low visibility. On top of that, they say the majority of those accidents, vehicles collide head-on, causing some of the most dangerous and deadly crashes.
Driver responsibility comes into play with regard to obeying the law, obeying the speed limit, and making sure that they put the phones down. That's really important.
Now, many people have asked, why not just put up some tire spikes when drivers go the wrong way? FDOT officials tell me that is not a good idea because if they tried to do that on an off-ramp or an on-ramp, the driver could get trapped and not be able to turn around. They also tell me that would make it difficult for first responders. Reporting live from the Hart Bridge, Bethany Anderson, First Coast News, on your side.
Bethany, thank you. And there have been two separate wrong-way crashes within the past week. Both happened on Thursday. The first one happened in the middle of the night on the Wonderwood Bridge. Police say a man was driving the wrong way on the bridge and crashed into a car. The man died in that crash. The other crash happened, as Bethany mentioned, later that afternoon on the expressway to the Hart Bridge. A driver collided with another car, causing the passenger and the second car to die instantly. 3 other people were hurt in that crash.